Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Enda. Enda is from Ireland, but he lives in England, in the UK. So let's see what Enda has to say. Enjoy the interview. So
Cool.
hello Enda, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Good to be back.
Yes, thanks again for taking the time for the interview. Thank you.
And same to you.
So tell me, how was your day today?
Good. Um, yeah, writing a lot of stuff for Instagram now. I'm getting my three pinned posts, three pinned carousels thing in place. So I'm going to remove my website and I'm
Mhm.
going to put in a booking link and I'm just going to put the website onto the three carousels.
Right.
I'm just kind of stuffing all the stuff in there. You know what I mean? So that's been good. It's been an interesting process. There's lots of other things going on as well. You know, my son has been out with his friend. He's made a friend in college, so he's been going out
Really?
to her place quite a lot, and they brought him to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs pantomime
Wow.
in Canterbury, and apparently it was amazing, you know. So he was delighted with that. But yeah, I had the whole place to myself today, and was just able to kind of crack on and do some stuff,
Amazing.
you know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So tell
What
me where
about-
you're from, Enda.
I am from a small town in the middle of Ireland called Birr. That's spelled Birr. That's place of the springs. That's what it means in Irish, Biora. So
Amazing.
small little towns, about 4,000 when I was growing up. It's probably about 5,000 now, pushing on. But yeah, it was a good place to grow up actually.
And how far is from Dublin?
It's about less than 90 minutes, depending on how you drive, I guess. You know, but you could get home in about an hour and 20 minutes
And I
there.
believe you're based in England right now.
Yeah, I am in Folkestone,
Okay.
which is just across the English Channel. So
Okay.
like we can basically see France on a clear day. And it looks some days, and like I moved down here because my girlfriend lives here, but
Uh-huh.
she she's noticed France looking closer, not saying that it's moving closer, but when it gets super, super clear, it just looks like it's a few miles away when it's
Wow.
about 25 miles or thereabouts, but it looks closer,
I see.
you know.
And what do you do for work for a living, Enda?
I am a subconscious coach.
Okay.
So I work with my clients' subconscious, and we could cover topics. It could be anything from anxiety to addictions to self-sabotage to not having enough energy, or just brain fog, you name it. Or some people just want more of what's going well,
Right.
you know?
Amazing.
So they want to keep it that way, right?
Okay, and so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Okay, cool. I'm okay in the frame the way the composition is okay.
Perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
very clear. Very clear.
Okay, good.
Amazing.
Cool.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box.
Cool.
So I have here my best friend. Of random fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song that's first to relax before the first question, okay?
Okay, cool.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we start the interview, doing the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to answer, always can change. Okay,
Okay, cool.
amazing. First question is, tell us about your earliest memory in life.
My earliest memory in life is on a Halloween. I remember saying this to my parents that I was in the back of the car and we were driving up the hill to the house well, it's still there. My brother lives in it now, but it was hillside. So we were in
Uh-huh.
spin and started to go up. And I remember the car passing by kids who were out trick or treating. So I remember the masks and all this kind of stuff. And I remember saying this to my mum because I was born in late September. So then
Hmm.
it would have been, you know, a month later. But I was adopted when I was 4 weeks old. And
Okay.
she's like, it would be impossible for you to remember that. I said, yeah, but I remember that distinctly. I don't know if it was that year or, she said, no, there's no way. Or, maybe my awareness, something happened subconsciously and I remembered it later as a memory. But, I don't know if it happened when I was one or two or zero.
Right.
I could have been 4 weeks old, but that's my earliest childhood memory. Being in the back of the car, looking out the right passenger window, and then seeing these kids with masks on and not knowing what the was going on. You know what I mean? And then we go up the hill and we go home. I don't know if it was for the first time or the 101st time, you know?
Wow.
I was told it was impossible, but I said it to my mum again and again. I'm sure it was the first time I was being brought to the Quealy household.
It's interesting how those memories just stay with us. And as you mentioned about Halloween, there was something that trigged you straight away over there, seeing those
Mm,
people dressing up. I think it's amazing.
yeah, I remember the masks for sure and long cloth, you know what I mean, around them, just going like, okay, what's going on here? Where are you bringing me?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Next. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, next question for you is what was your favorite part about school?
Uh, God, I hated school.
Mhm.
Only that I started playing in a band when I was 16. So it's funny, every year we used to run musicals, and the musical I was in was Grease. So I was Kaneki, so I had to sing Grease Lightning. And when I went into class in sixth year, and one of our teachers, God, why can't I remember her name? But I liked her actually. But she was talking about the revision we were doing on all this stuff that we did last year. And I was like, I don't remember any of this. Maura O'Connell was her name. But I was like, I'm not remembering any of this. So I spoke to the principal and I asked if I could repeat fifth year. And that suited me because I was just after starting to play the drums.
Right.
And the three other guys were in fifth. So when I repeated, we got to play in the band a lot more. So I think
Oh,
I think my favorite thing out of school, out of all of school, was that we started playing music in a band. We were a four-piece. The guy who was singing at the time just went and he was signed with Sony. He's on the Romeo and
wow.
Juliet soundtrack. But they dropped him soon after. He wasn't ready, or the situations he was being pushed into just they were just overwhelming. They weren't right for him at that stage. But he's still playing now.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, I played a few more occasions along the decades to follow, but never really did it seriously, you know. But when I look back in school, like instantly the trigger is, playing drums.
And what's the biggest joy of being, what do you like the most about being Enda?
Biggest joy about being Enda is I
Yes.
get to laugh a lot at the most banal, silly things. And, when they talk about dad jokes now, it's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I remember my dad was a teacher and I sat in his class and he did dad jokes and people looked around at me as if I should be embarrassed. And I'm like, nothing I can do about that, and I see myself making the same old dry jokes now and getting a hell of a lot of entertainment out of it. So I think for me, yeah, um, sense of humor, I think is something that I really enjoy.
Great. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, when we start, when we reconnected for the first time that started doing the interview, I remember that you asking about the fun facts, and you mentioned about being adopted, and I remember you
Mm.
mentioned about something unique about your life regarding that. Would you like to share it?
Yeah, well, I think it's common enough to see, one or two adopted kids, but there was four of us.
Hmm.
My mum had two ectopic pregnancies, so the child started to develop in the fallopian tube. So, and not one but two, and you only have two, right? So she couldn't have kids, and she obviously really wanted to have kids because she got two boys, two girls, all blue eyes, blue hair, all blue eyes. Actually, I did have blue hair later, but all blue eyes, brown hair, two girls, and then me, and then my younger brother.
Right.
Um, and I guess, yeah, it's unusual in that people didn't really think it.
Mhm.
Like I said to you, like my 25-year-old cousin at the time, he reached, a quarter of a century and he didn't even know. And no one had said anything. So when he was told, he was absolutely shocked, because, my sisters would have had, we all grew up with mannerisms from our parents and environment. So an
Mhm.
accent and all that kind of stuff until we kind of just left school and then we all changed massively, you know?
I
But
see.
that was interesting. I mean, they were both my parents are gone now, dead or whatever you want to say it, but they passed over the Rainbow Bridge into their next iteration. But yeah, very patient and caring, and they didn't know what to do with me though when I came along because I was very different to the girls. The
Uh-huh.
girls were, kind of a bit steadier.
Right.
And I didn't mention this, but when I was born, I wasn't breathing, and they
Okay.
thought that was it. But then I kind of kick-started. And then for the next 4 weeks, I guess I had to do with 1973's version of, formula, because, my biological mother went.
Hmm.
So by the time my parents got me, there was a lot of trauma there, and they didn't realize what
Right.
was going on with me. So I was kind of difficult to figure out. And,
Hmm.
even into my 20s, they couldn't figure me out. They didn't try and push anything. In fairness, the best thing they did for me was they never tried to push, you know, religion. Like when my son was born, they were intelligent enough to not push baptism, whereas my ex's mum was. She was like, you have to get him, it would just be terrible if you don't, and you're going to have to do it. And, the priest will come around and shame him and all this kind of stuff. And we're like, we're not sending him anywhere that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, drifting off topic. But yeah, they were awesome parents anyway. That's the bottom line.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, what makes you very sentimental?
Um, what was the? It was the last time I cried at a movie.
Do you cry easily?
No, not really. I do. I kind of feel the emotion and let the emotion do its full cycle, and I don't interfere with the emotion. And that
Right.
was the opposite of the way I grew up. Like, I mean, as a child, yeah, while I was having difficulty in school and all that kind of stuff, always crying, you know.
Right.
But then, kind of into my teens, I became a man and I got really tough. You know what I mean? I started to suppress all my emotions, and that built and built and built until 2016, uh, when, yeah, so I would have been like 43. It started
Hmm.
coming out as frozen shoulders. So both
Wow.
my shoulders locked in, and that's what I got for suppressing emotions. But I found, I don't know if it was kind of undiagnosed autism or trauma or stuff like that, that I tended to bottle everything. And even
Right.
if even if I was in a situation where I was kind of getting nostalgic or there was something that really wanted to come out, it would take me going to bed and waking up the next day for the emotion to come out and the tears to come out. So, say, for example, someone was asking me if I cried when my son was born. And I said I had to go home to bed to fall asleep to wake up the next morning. And when I woke up the next morning, I went into fits of tears, just like, for
Wow.
ages, and just like full on body shakes, the whole thing, you know.
Wow.
Um, so you know, so the next time, and even though I went through breakup and all that kind of stuff, the the biggest kind of like, you know, kind of outburst of emotion and tears and all that kind of stuff came when I did my first hypnosis session. It all just
Wow.
barreled out of me, you know?
Powerful.
And I think I think now I can get a little bit misty-eyed, in some movies. Um, I can't remember the movie. I remember actually in my 20s watching what's the one with Robin Williams and Matt Damon?
I know which one. I don't remember now the name, but yes, it's a quite big. It's a big one.
It's a
Um,
huge movie. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of trauma and
Yes.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff in there that was just like bing, it was just like in my
Mhm.
world at that time.
It's a classic. It's a classic movie. I know.
It's one that I want to watch with my son.
Hmm.
I have it on the kind of on the back burner.
Yep.
It's annoying me that I can't remember the name of it, but we'll move on. I know our time is short.
Yes, I think I think I loved your answer regarding hypnosis. I think sometimes you find some ways to some therapy. It could be hypnosis, could be anything that somehow sparks something there, and all the
Mm,
emotions just come out. And I think it's
mm.
great. I'm sure you felt amazing afterwards to let it go all those emotions for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. So now I just don't interrupt the cycle. I notice
Mhm.
an emotion
Yeah.
and I let it come up, whatever it is. And I don't have any point of view of whether it wants to complete itself or not. But I don't suppress it because I don't want any more frozen shoulders.
Two questions left. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, what's the biggest joy of being a coach? What do you like the most about it?
Um, yeah, it's just seeing people's lives change as a result of the sessions I do. And I get a lot out of the sessions myself. So
Hmm.
I did say to you before that, if I'm in session with someone, I'm completely in flow. I'm enjoying an energy session,
Hmm.
and they are as well. And I'm enjoying the word magic on top of that. That's working with the unconscious, subconscious mind. So it's all singing, all dancing, and everything is happening. Lots of stuff in the body as well. And usually afterwards, they're not fit for conversation, and that's cool. But a few days later, after they have their first night's sleep, maybe someone will say something the next day. Maybe for some people it's a couple of days. For some other people, it's a couple of weeks. Remember saying to a guy just catching up, how's that integrating? He said it's still integrating, still integrating. But then their lives change, beyond belief. From it could be something like revenue increase, where they didn't change anything in their business, but people are now starting to DM them, even though they're not doing anything differently. So it's
Hmm.
like, woo. So like, you've got the woo aspect, and then there's the whole, I just feel like super confident. Like I just did a session on self-belief with about 50 people on Insight Timer
Wow.
about an hour ago. And people just keep coming back. It's my sixth session to run on there. I did
Wow.
at the start of lockdown, I did about 16 weeks in a row. And I'm just, for me, I get on there. It's a free platform. I just put, some juju out into the world, see what happens, see what comes back. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to do, right? And so that's me doing it for the enjoyment of doing it. But particularly, yeah, the energetic aspect of it, playing with the energy and hearing people say, "What did you do when you said this?" Because when you said that, then this happened for me. And someone else goes, "Yeah,
Wow,
no, no, this happened for me as well." And someone else would chime in, and these people are all over the world.
wow,
And there's an energy playing with all that. It knows what I want to put out there. And everyone, on those sessions are just lapping it up. That's a lot
wow,
of fun for me,
amazing. Right. Next question for you is, if you could change something in yourself or about yourself, what that would be and why?
Um, I guess I'm not I'm not somebody who loves to get up and work out and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's discipline, but I'm just not pre, disposed to that kind of activity. So
Right.
when you were asking me about Nisha before, like and all the weights and all this kind of stuff, he has his own routine and he's doing that. And I'm like, fair play. And I bought them from myself. So I've kind of like, okay, all the fitness stuff, So I guess to answer your question, like, yeah, I'd love if I was bigger and more muscular without having to do all of the you need to do to get there. Because I'm,
That's wish a lot of people for sure.
yeah, 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 absolutely. So I think, yeah, just to be a bit broader and a bit less spindly, I think.
See.
But there's nothing else I'd change about myself. And even though, life was really hard
Mhm.
with everything kind of wired backwards, and then me wanting to drink myself into oblivion for 16 years,
Wow.
despite all that, and I did, and then got sober at the age of 32, and I'm 52 now, so I'm 20 years sober.
Wow.
All of the messiness of early life, I'm trying to see the positive in it. But
There's always a positive. There's always a positive for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't,
No,
I mean, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, but
I
like,
do.
this life is here to provide some lesson.
Yeah.
And if I haven't had the lesson yet, it is going to show up as a result of all of that. So I'm good with it. You know what I mean?
I remember when I was a teenager, like maybe I was 18, and I had this friends and her parents, they still very spiritual. They have this temple in their house where they pray, and sometimes I was going to some sessions with them, and I
Mm,
remember he was talking about that's a reincarnation, that we come every life to become a better person, to improve ourselves, this
mm.
and that. I remember making a comment to my friend. I said, I don't want to improve too much because I want to come back all the time. I don't want to, because when you
Yeah,
reach one point, you just don't come back anymore, because you reach whatever you need to learn
yeah,
through life. And I
yeah,
remember talking to my friend after. I was like, no, 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 I want to come. I don't want to learn too fast, because I want to come back more and more. I want to live more and more.
yeah.
I remember that.
You don't want to become a level 4 dungeon master too
Yeah,
soon, right?
not too soon. No, no. I like life a lot. So I want to come back again and to learn more lessons and going smooth, not too fast.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
As
yeah,
a
yeah.
teenager, I remember as a teenager talking, I was 18, 19, talking about that. I remember.
Mhm. Yeah. Have you ever done a past life regression?
No, I haven't. No,
Mm,
not. I haven't. However, this same this very close friends. He's very spiritual. He studies a lot of astrology about star. He's very into that. And once he told me, and he studied a lot of past lives as well. He
mm,
told me that one of my past lives I was a priest. And
yeah.
when he said that, I was like, oh, interesting you saying that because I always been very connected with the church. Not I'm not very religious. When I was a teenager, yes, I remember going to church, and I love this connection to the church. I think because I like the whole idea of the mass. Is for me it was an event, and I was helping the priests, you know. So I think for me the whole mass for me it was like wow, it's a performance. So that's I think when I was a teenager I liked that. But I
Yeah.
think for me religion it's God, and I believe that there's a higher power there, but I
Mm,
don't write, you know. I think religion is very personal. That's how I see.
mm,
But yeah, growing up, and I remember he mentioned that to me once, that he could see that in past lives I had this connection with religions, and I was a priest. And it makes sense. I totally get it because there's some connection,
mm,
from my life that I get that. So when he said, I was surprised. At the same time, I wasn't, because like, oh, that's interesting. It makes a lot of sense for me now when he mentioned that. Yeah.
yeah. Cool.
Last question. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Last one. Before the last question, as I could see your eyes shining talking about your son, so tell me, what's the biggest joy of being a dad?
Um, shared interests
Mm-hmm.
and um, and sharing music with them as well. So we
Yeah,
were on the way to the shop the other day, and I put on the Stone Roses first album. I don't know if you know the Stone Roses from Manchester.
I'm not familiar.
They have an album from 1989, and it was like, oh
Okay.
my God.
Uh-huh.
So that album, what I really love is that he's got good taste in music. So
Great.
he's like, whoa, this is really who is that? And he'll write it down in his notebook of his favorite shit, basically. So all the movies go in there and
Mm-hmm.
albums. He has his own interests as well, but we really connect well on
Amazing.
movies and music, and the shared sense of humor as
Uh-huh.
well. You know what I mean? We do crack each other up. But yeah, we're close, and I think he could share anything with me,
Amazing.
which is pretty, it's an honor, really. It's,
Totally.
actually, what was it? We've been watching the X-Files, right? We're into season 5 now, really fast. Just
Mm-hmm.
taking us a few weeks, which is kind of amazing because there's about 24 episodes per season.
Wow.
But, there was one situation in it where Scully's mother is angry with her because Scully hasn't told her of her illness. You should have told me immediately. And Misha says, um, you don't have to tell your parents. You don't have to tell your parents everything. And I turned around. I said, do, Nisha. Yes, you do. You know, we were just cracking up. But we can laugh. You can. I guess you can beep out the profanity.
Beep. Okay. Last question is, what's the biggest prize you ever won?
I want €1,000 to go to Iceland. Actually, I chose.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of funny. It was, and I would never do it now, right? Because I don't trust people who are harvesting DNA. But back then, when I wasn't awakened yet, I kind of fell for this Ancestry.com.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, we want to use you as like a marketing asset. So you're going to end up being like user generated content, right? UGC. So what we did was we sent off DNA and they, put it into a system, and then obviously BlackRock has it now. But we kind of went through uh, a couple of rounds, and then it was like, okay, you've won like €1,000 that you can spend going to whichever country your DNA is from.
Well.
So when I got back the first results, you know, I'd mostly Irish DNA with a little bit of English,
Okay.
a little bit of Southeast Asian,
Right.
a little bit of Nordic, right? Okay, which which would be fine. And then the last bit was Pacific Islander. So I
Okay.
was like, I'm really, really struggling to see, the Asian and the Pacific Islander part. I can see the Irish, even a little bit of the English, and I can definitely see some Nordic,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So we went to Iceland. We used €1,000 and then added much more to it because Iceland's pretty expensive, right?
I was about to say 1,000 euros in Iceland is like 100 pounds.
Got us the
And
flights.
yeah.
Got us the flights and a little bit of the house for a week. But funnily enough, when I went back to ancestry.com a few years later, the all of my exotic DNA had disappeared.
Uh-huh.
I was no longer a Pacific Islander or a Southeast Asian or even uh, a Nordic Viking. I was 94% Irish and 6%
Uh-huh.
English. So
Wow.
here I am. But I mean, you know what it's like to be exotic in England, right? I don't.
For
Maybe
sure.
you do.
Right, so on the internet, let's play another word association game. I'm going to say some words, just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick
Okay.
thinking. Let's start with family,
Choice,
money,
energy,
fear,
loathing,
love,
sex,
life,
expansion,
religion,
dogma,
sex,
intelligence,
politics,
scam,
friendship,
laughter,
desire,
force,
regret,
tragedy,
success,
ease,
wish,
multiple,
happiness.
contentment,
One word for Ireland.
sod,
Oh dear, one word for England.
invasion,
Um, one word for music.
joy,
And the last one now, coaching, one word.
flow.
If I'd ask your son to define you in one positive word and one negative word on what he would say about you.
So two words, one positive, one negative.
Yeah,
Um, what would he say? Open-minded, I guess, but that's too, you know what I mean? But
it's
open,
okay. It's okay.
that's the concept. In that we can talk about anything.
Sure.
And then the negative, uh, I'm trying to imagine him talking to his mom about me. I guess busy. He's too busy. He's too
Right.
busy, and I want him to do this, and I'm here doing nothing. But the beauty about that is
Mm-hmm.
it's made him get up off his arse and go out there and make friends, and he's done it. And we didn't know if that was going to happen at all because, he went to the autistic school
Mm-hmm.
and never met any of the friends there outside of school. And we'd moved to England, so we didn't have the childhood friends, and we moved a couple of times in Ireland as well. So it
Okay.
was like we were burning our bridges as we went, and he was alone all the way through. But when
Wow.
that's done, I don't know if you know who John Cleese is from Fawlty
Nope.
Towers and Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Mm,
The Life of Brian. He's the real tall comedian, absolutely amazing.
right,
He's still alive. He's very funny. He's active on Twitter, but he had a similar kind of thing where he was just basically a loner all the way up to his teens until he met all these comedians and they
right.
started, synapses started to fire.
I
So
see.
anyway, I'm hoping that's going to be his arc, that he'll find a groove on his own and uh,
Yeah.
and he won't need me anymore.
Let's play now. Enter in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Before asking the question, of course, 2025 is almost finishing. So, if you could define 2025 in one word only, what that would be
For me or for everyone?
for you?
For me, change.
Okay.
A lot of change has happened. You know, we're nearly 6 months in a new town. He's started to go to college.
Hmm.
I've, you know, subjected my girlfriend to me being in close proximity instead of being, a safe distance of 2.5 to almost 3 hours away,
Right,
even though it was 50 miles in the dating app. But as the crow flies, and as the crow flies, it's across the bay to Essex from
right.
Folkestone, where we are. You know, so a lot of change has happened
Hmm.
that is happening now. And it's awesome. I love it. You know.
Amazing. Okay, and can I ask me a question now?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you the last time I asked you, do you ever get homesick for Brazil? And you gave an amazing response that I hope you use in your social media. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somewhere, because you could see yourself, right, on the video. But I wanted to ask you, are you going to spend the rest of your life in England? Particularly, I know you're in London now, but is that your plan?
Great question, and a great question. People, friends, people around, my circle, they have asked me this question, and it's interesting because right now, right this moment, I cannot tell you because I love being in London. I meant to be here. I just when I analyze my life and I think about me, I meant to be here. However, whatever, it's a big, it's a big step. I could see myself, I could. And at the same time as well, I could see myself back in Brazil or maybe living somewhere else. But right
Mm,
this moment, like very honest question, very honest answer for you, I know I'm gonna be here for a long while, that's for sure. I feel that. Not that I want, but I feel that. I feel that I
yeah.
still have a lot here that I want to explore, to be and to learn. But at the
Mm,
same time as well, I'm very adventurous. I'm very adventurous. I love new opportunities, new challenges. So I'm very up for whatever life throws me sometimes, and I like that. I like about
mm,
that my personality. So it's
mm,
difficult because as I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm always trying to be a better person, grow, and try to find my path in life. Sometimes I'm aware that maybe could be somewhere else. Yeah, I'm kind of aware and open about that as well. So both open and aware. So
mm,
I never know. But right now, right this moment, I like being here and I'm meant to be
mm,
here. That's for sure. If
mm,
I'll be if someone tell me, oh, I know your life for the future and you're gonna be here forever, I would accept it and I would be happy. If somebody says, oh, actually, I see you maybe live somewhere else, I still would love to know the unknown, the possibilities. So
mm,
both ways excites me because I like being in London, I like being in England. At the same time as well, excites me maybe something that maybe I never thought about living and somehow life presents to me, and I would
mm.
enjoy that as well. So
Cool.
yeah, so it's a difficult question for me to answer in the exactly moment, but the way I would
Mm,
say yes and no because I'm open to opportunities. But if I need to be here for any reason, whatever, I would be happy still be in London for sure. Yeah,
cool.
great.
Nice.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, it was good. And it was interesting doing the word association thing second time around. I was talking to Alex about that. She said, "Oh, word association." She said, "I would be terrible at that."
It's a
And
bit
it's just like,
scary.
but it's just like, why, why is it so slow coming out? Why is nothing coming up? Why did I think of that?
I always tell people here, because people, they sometimes, my guests, they want to bring the right words, and I always say they're
Mm.
not right or wrong. It's just what comes to your mind. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of the game. And I love when people just sometimes comes with a random answer that doesn't even match the word I said, but what I like is because it came to their minds, that word,
Yeah.
and that's what I find fascinating about the word association game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks again.
It's fun.
I'm glad that we did the interview again. I'm glad that we managed somehow, and
Absolutely.
it's great to see you again. And thanks so much for taking the time. It's so lovely to see you talk about your son and talk about the opportunity that you see him growing, and his personality is the way he's facing life with his challenge that he had growing up, or changing places.
Mhm.
However, just the fact you're saying about watching the series together, it's amazing. I could picture both of you just watch and have the best of it. So amazing. Love it. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing those memories. Amazing.
You're welcome. And you asked for a quote the last time.
Yes. Yes,
And
if you can
I
share a
gave you
quote.
something I gave you something different the last time. It was the find the others. And I was like, what will I give you this time? There was a couple of quotes. One is from Aristotle, which is happiness depends upon ourselves. And the session I ran, it's like your thoughts become your reality, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And that was the session that I ran this evening was based around your thoughts creating everything around you and us taking responsibility for that. Oh, guess what? We have to take responsibility for that. And the other one
Yes.
was about aging. And David Bowie said, aging is an extraordinary process where you become the person you always should have been.
Perfect.
He is, yeah, he's down there as having said that. He may have artistically stolen it from somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if he had. But that was I found was quite interesting. Not that, if you reflect on the person you are now versus the person you were when you were three, I should never have been a 53-year-old or 52-year-old man when I was three. But, the interesting parts of it, as you kind of grow into yourself and you become less and less kind of uptight about stuff and less kind of obsessive, and you just kind of learn to let a lot of it go, and you're like, oh my God, that whole thing, don't sweat the small stuff,
Totally.
that was, oh, Jesus Christ, everything being intense when I was in my 20s for sure.
Amazing.
Anyways, there you go for the quotes.
Thanks again, and thanks so much. Happy New Year for you, your son, and your loved ones. And you keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And I'm glad you made it. We made this time. I'm glad.
Absolutely. We got over the gremlins. All right.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Have a good night. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye bye.
Thanks, William. Take it easy.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.